Good evening, good evening. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yes, it's me again. It's your boy, Charles White. Welcome to the Motivational Speaking Page, my platform. It's so good to see each and every one of you again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at in the world globally. We thank you for watching, for joining, for, holding us down. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to jump right into it on this Wednesday. Look, I hope your week is going well. I hope your family is doing well. I hope you're doing well. I hope your friends are doing well. And look, if you're having struggles this week, just know your struggles do not last always. So we're going to jump right into this motivational word. So this is an actual movie. So this topic is an actual movie. Not only is it a movie, it's a song. It's a song and a movie. Now, the movie was released March 3rd, 1989. March 3rd, 1989. Now, the song that Bill Withers wrote was released 1972. Now, I already know y'all see where I'm going with this. The movie and the song is entitled Lean On Me. Now, Lean On Me is actually, the movie is based on a true story. It's based on a true story about this gentleman by the name of Joe Clark. Joe Clark was a school principal at the school of East Side High in New Jersey. Now, he was called to this school because at the time that he was called, there were some things happening within the school system and people need to get reelected. It's crazy how politicians work when they need to get reelected, how they need people to help them get their agenda done. And after their agenda is fulfilled, they'll push them away and move them to the side like nothing has happened. And so Joe Clark has to go into East Side High and he has to clean this school up. And it's so funny how the song outlines the movie so well. Because Bill Withers writes in the first part of the song, lean on me when you're not strong. We're going to park the car right there. Lean on me when you're not strong. He says this, and this is significant in this song because what it lays out is that you need somebody when you're not strong to lean on. You need somebody when you can't handle things, when you're weak, when you're at your lowest points. You just need somebody to lean on. And so Bill Withers writes this song and Joe Clark comes into this school and he's facing all the odds that you can face. He's facing parents, politicians, school superintendents, even some of the teachers that was not for what he was trying to do. He was facing all of these things. Now let me stop right there. That don't mean Joe Clark was perfect either. Joe Clark was not perfect, not by any means. That means, and that tells me that we're not perfect. He was not perfect by any means. But so he goes into this school. He has this dynamic. He has to build this relationship, not just with the teachers, but with the students. And really, he needed to gain trust from the students because the students did not trust anybody. The students didn't trust their community. They didn't trust their students. The teachers, they didn't trust themselves as students. And so now he has to come into this school and turn it around. Now, just to give you some mathematical context here. The movie came out, like I said, in 1989. The song was written in 1972 and was released, right? So that's a 27-year gap with the song and the movie, between the song and the movie there. So it's a 27-year gap there. And so now we're in this dynamic here where Bill Withers writes this song and now we have this gentleman by the name of Joe Clark that has to go into this school by the name of East Side High, and he has to somehow make sure that these students pass a state test. How interesting that is, that students in when this movie was released or when they were in school, had to pass a state test, how to this day in 2023, we still have students passing a state test. And let me ask the question, what is the state test for? Outside of them knowing that they're knowledgeable in the things that they learn throughout the year. That's it. So they had to pass this state test. And Joe Clark had to lean on these students, and these students had to lean on Joe Clark. And this is how you get to your Joe Clark point number one is, we want people to lean on us. Matter of fact, we need people to lean on us. We all need somebody to lean on. Bill Withers explains that so well. He says we want people. This is your Joe Clark point number one. We want people to lean on us. We want people to lean on us. Bill Withers said we need somebody to lean on. That's important. We need somebody to lean on. Meaning them students needed each other to lean on. Joe Clark needed them students to lean on him, and them students needed to lean on Joe Clark so they could get from point A to point B. And can I be real? Not everybody has to know who you leaning on or who leaning on you. It's so funny because I had a good friend of mine, they reached out to me, and it's so crazy how life happens. Because I was really about to record this last week, and I didn't record it last week because I really wanted to wait until I started the new series, the Welcome Back series, Black Sitcom series. Yeah, I really wanted to record that. And so I held off on this one. And me and this good friend of mine was having a conversation. And it's so funny how, people call on you and then they want to blast out what they did. No. Don't nobody got to know who leaning on you and who you leaning on. No matter what that is, if that's for therapy, if that's just for somebody having a friend to lean on, to cry on, to laugh with, if that's for financial, not everybody has to know what you're doing for everybody. But this is where we have to park the car and hold it. Because that does not mean you do everything for them. You don't have to do everything. Yes, we want people to lean on us. Parents, you need your kids to lean on you. Kids, your parents need to be able to lean on you as well. It's vice versa in any relationship, in any dynamic. You need to have somebody that you can lean on and somebody that can lean on you. That's just how it works. But that does not mean they do everything for you. That does not mean they do everything for you. That does not mean they do everything for you. It's good to set boundaries. Hey, to a certain point, you have to do something yourself. You have to believe in yourself that you can do something. And if you fall in the ditch, trust me, I'm not going to fall in the ditch with you, but I will pull my hand up to get you out, give you some guidance. That's what I will do. I'm not going to fall in the ditch, because if I fall in the ditch with you, we're both in the ditch. Now somebody both got to get us out. Now we both leaning on each other in the ditch, and we have to lean on somebody else to get us out the ditch. So yeah, you can lean on me. I'm going to help you get out the ditch. I'm going to give you guidance. I'm going to give you direction. And that's all Joe Clark was doing. He's saying, look, I'm going to make sure you get from point A to point B, but you have to do the work. You have to make sure you pass the test. You got to make sure you pay attention to your teachers and your leaders and your parents. And it's so crazy how haters will throw you away. Because you see in the movie that students had parents and communities throwing them away. Superintendents and mayors and who you think not supposed to throw young people away, just throwing them to the wolves. Just throwing them to the wolves. And they have to find trust and solace with this principle. They have to know that they can trust this principle. These students not only have to can they trust him? But Joe Clark has to see, can he trust them? It's a relationship dynamic here that you have in Lean On Me. And Bill Withers writes it out, and he keeps saying, Bill Withers writes in the song here, lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. So whatever the problem was, if you need help carrying it, these students needed to pass a state test. This principal needed to prove that these students could pass a state test, and how they carried each other along the way because they needed somebody to lean on. So you have this dynamic here with Joe Clark and these students, and these students with Joe Clark, and the community is not with Joe Clark because he made some comments that, hey, at the time, hey, bro, you probably shouldn't have said that. Again, he was not perfect. Then you have superintendents that looking at him crazy for how he's trying to keep students safe and how he's trying to make sure that they're educated. Then you have politicians that think this man is crazy. Was he a little crazy with his thinking? But at the time that he was doing it, it might have been crazy in some people's head, but it was right for what he was doing to keep them students not only safe, but make sure that they were educated. So you have this dynamic here with Joe Clark and these students, and then with this song that Bill Withers writes, and it's a 27-year gap, like I said here, with the song and the movie. And then you get to Joe Clark, point number 2. We need people that we can lean on. We need people that we can lean on. It's so crazy how in that movie, Lean On Me, Joe Clark comes to a place where he's getting arrested. He got arrested, and it was for putting chains on the door, and the fire marshal told him to take the chains off. If we come there and the chains are still on the door, y'all know how the movie went. We're going to arrest him. And so the chains was on the door when they pulled up. So he broke the law. He had to pay for what he did. He had to pay for what he did. And he had to explain to his students why he was getting arrested. And he told them at that time, hey, y'all need to go back to class, and told the assistant principal, I need you to run this school as if I was here. Meaning, don't nothing change. Don't nobody act out, act a fool. I need this school to run the way it should be run if I was present. This is a sidebar. You should always act the same, no matter if people are watching or if they're not watching. You should always be the same person. If you on 110, be on 110 when people ain't watching and when people ain't watching. If you a positive person, that don't mean you're not going to have bad days. If you a positive person, hey, be positive. Even in your bad days, find some positivity within your bad days. Now, if you just negative, hey, we need you to change that negative energy. If you are just a negative person, hey, I can't have you around me. I'm just going to keep it real. I like positive people. But this Joe Clark point number 2 is we need people that we can lean on. So he gets arrested. And these students join together and go to the jail cell and stand outside and protest. Literally have a protest to get him out of jail because they saw the injustice of him getting arrested. How funny it is how we protest for injustice and people feel some type of way. Let me press rewind and press play, and let me say that one more time. How people feel some type of way when we're out protesting and standing for what's right. And they feel some type of way, and they want to call on the police and throw tear gas and do all of those things when we're just standing up for the injustices that we see. And they saw an injustice and they stood up for it. And the whole while in this scene, you got the superintendent out there, you got parents out there that was against Joe Clark, you got the students, and then the mayor and politicians, they come into the jail cell begging Joe Clark, hey, please, can you tell these students to go home because I don't want nothing to happen. Haven't we heard that for in this country before? We want y'all to send these folks home for standing up for injustice because we don't want nothing to happen. Where have we heard that before? Ain't that just so interesting that it happened in the movie and it happens in real life right here in America? So these students are out here, and finally Joe Clark comes to his senses and he says, you know what? They ain't gonna listen to y'all anyway because they don't like none of y'all, to be honest. They really don't like y'all. So I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do something. And Joe Clark probably had the most amazing smile on his face, seeing every one of those students out there. And he realized the students that was leaning on him, he had them to lean on. That's why we need people that we can lean on. And you ain't gotta blast it out on social media. Everybody ain't gotta know. They ain't gotta know who that person is. It can be between you and that other person, and that's it. And nobody ever know. Nobody ever gotta find out. Ain't gotta be blasted on Instagram. You ain't gotta make a TikTok video. You ain't gotta blast it out on Twitter. You ain't gotta take a picture. All you gotta do is say, you can lean on me. Ain't nobody gotta know your name. You ain't gotta be blasted all out in the news. Just because you help. Just because you help. That's what it's all about. They saw that, how he impacted them. And he needed them in a time that nobody else would be there. And them students, every last one of them was out there. So Joe Clark, point number one is this. Let's go back. We want people to lean on us. We want people to lean on us. But we got to pause and make sure we know this. That doesn't mean we do everything for them, though. We want them to lean on us. We need them to lean on us. So we can carry things that sometimes they can't carry themselves. But that doesn't mean we do everything for them. Because this is how Joe Clark number 2 comes. We need people that we can lean on. So when times get hard and our cup is empty and we don't pour it out, we need people that will pour back into us and encourage us and tell us it's okay to go along the journey. It's okay. We need that. It's okay to go along. It's okay to press on. We need that. And how interesting this movie was, because the real question that you need to ask, that I wish the movie would have asked, but it didn't ask, that it should have asked. And this is something that you need to think about. Who are the people that you can lean on in your life? Who are the people that you can lean on in your life? And then you need to reverse the question. Reverse it and say, who are people? You need to reverse the question and say, can people lean on me? That's the reality. That's the reality. There's 2 questions you really have to ask. Who are the people I can lean on? And can people lean on me? And if the first one is I ain't got nobody to lean on, and then the second one is can't nobody lean on me, we have a problem. If both of those are no's, we have a problem, and we might need to do a fact check on not only our friend circle, our family circle, but we might need to look at the mirror at ourselves and see what are we doing. So who are some of the people in your life that you can lean on? And can people lean on you? Can people truly lean on you? And this is why Bill Withers was so important with the song that he wrote, Lean on Me. Because sometimes within that, leaning on people and people leaning on us, we got to swallow our pride. We got to swallow our pride. We got to swallow our pride and be bigger than whatever the situation the person needs help with or the situation we need help with. Because sometimes the person that you need to lean on has been in that situation and that they can help you. Vice versa. You can help that person get out whatever situation. So swallow your pride. Stop being so prideful and bougie and stuck up. And look at your status quo and say, I ain't going to help them. Stop doing that. And this is your Joe Clark point number 3. Your growth, your life is built on leaning on someone else. I don't care how old you are in your life. In your growth aspect of your life, somewhere in your life, you need someone else to lean on. When you was a child, you needed your parents, you needed your teachers, you needed your mentors, your coaches. Now that you're an adult, you might need other adults. Adults, you might need young people to tell you, hey, that ain't right. That ain't hey. And then you can check other people as well. That don't mean you can always criticizing folks. Folks kill me with that. As soon as you want to check somebody, you want to criticize. You want to break them all the way down. I'm going to tell you all the way to the floor. No. All throughout life, your growth, your life is built on someone else that you can lean on. Parents, your children need to lean on you. Newsflash. So when they come into you crying and they upset and they've been out of shape, newsflash, that's your job. The rest of your life as a parent. That is your job. Oh, well, when they turn 18, I'm through with them. No. They need to be able to lean on you, and you need to be able to lean on them to the day that you die. That's just facts. Your role is important. Your role is important. No matter how small your role is, it's important. No matter how big your role is, it's important. So important. Your role is important. You gotta remember that. I don't care if you just if you just the teacher that's in the small classroom or the teacher in the big classroom. I don't care if you the defense attorney or you just the secretary. I don't care if you just the assistant or the principal. I don't care where you sit at. Your role is important. You have significance. Folks are leaning on you because your role is important. Don't ever think your role is not important. Your role is significant. Your role is important. Your role plays a piece to the puzzle. And if it's missing a piece, we're all out of order. We're all out of order. That's it. That's just something to think about. Your role is important. And lean on me. Whatever that role is. Have a small, big. Your role is important. And what Joe Clark and what Bill Withers was trying to come together, even though it was a 23-year gap, is saying, hey, no matter who leaning on you, and no matter who you leaning on, your role is still important. Your role still has significance. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long. I'm going to need somebody, somewhere on this earth to lean on. Lean on me. Lean on me. Lean on me. Lean on me. Thank you for your hearts. Thank you for your eyes. Thank you for your ears. Again, I greatly appreciate you for joining the platform again. Hey, listen, we got a lot of stuff coming. In about 2 weeks, I will be bringing back Beneath the Surface. If you know what Beneath the Surface is, that was my podcast where we have people join and we just ask questions and we get real and we find out more about them. I'm going to have the director of the EDS camps here at my church that I attend, Chris Wilson. He will be joining me for the Welcome Back Beneath the Surface. So that will be live right there at our camp. So join us for that. We will be presenting that live. But join us for everything that we're doing because we're back. We got a lot of stuff coming in the fall. We have a lot of great stuff coming. Till we meet again, I hope you have a great day, a great rest of your week, a great evening. Holla at your boy.